There's a ridiculous amount of camera companies out there, and in this video, once and for all, we're going to figure out which one is the best of all of them. So we got a bunch of the camera manufacturers listed right here, and we're going to start with Panasonic Lumix. I remember there was a camera that Lumix made called was it the GH3? I'm going to Google it. Yeah, I think it was this camera, the GH3. And I remember being in college, and this camera was absolutely ridiculous what it could do. The way it made like images look, everything just looked super cinematic. I don't know what the technical reasons were for this camera being so technologically amazing, but I just remember seeing YouTube videos and people were saying, oh my God, this camera makes everything look so cinematic. And I always remember wanting one, but then could never afford one. But other than that, I only really know Panasonic in terms of like more camcordery stuff. I think my dad probably had a Panasonic camcorder when I was young. And yeah, in terms of now, they're still making cameras. They're still making mirrorless stuff. Honestly, I don't know anybody who owns a Panasonic camera anymore. Everybody's, you know, got a Sony or something else, a Blackmagic. So yeah, like in terms of where, like, it depends how we're going to rank this. Are we doing like of all time from the history of the conception, which was like, how long's Panasonic been around? Panasonic founding year since 1918, Matsushita Honosuke. He's done a great job with the company since then. I would honestly say let's rank this in terms of, you know, like a little bit of history since 1918 to now. I'm gonna rank them a C. I don't know if that is too harsh or not. They're still making cameras and stuff, but in terms of like the zeitgeist of people owning them and using them on the regular, I personally don't know any, and I just am not very excited by the brand personally. Fujifilm. I used to own a X100F, which, as you are probably aware of on the internet, everybody is in love with the X100 series of cameras. They literally got sold out for ages because everybody on TikTok was like, look how amazing the JPEGs look. And they look absolutely amazing. Like the images that you get off of these without any grading is unbelievable. The way Fuji's color science reproduces like film stock, it looks absolutely amazing. And I was so close to getting the Fuji X100V, and I just couldn't justify it because as much as I would love to go out and take photos with it, I wanted to buy a camera that was a bit more hybrid, which is why I got this A7S-C Mark II, just because as a content creator and a YouTuber, I don't just want to carry a camera that only really does amazing photos, but doesn't do great video. And the Fuji X100V, at least, well, when I used the F, the video wasn't great. The V is apparently supposed to be a lot better, but it's nowhere near as good as what Sony can do. I'm biased because I'm a video guy, but I think if you're a photography guy and I was making a photography brand tier list, Fuji would be S tier. However, if we're talking about, you know, from a videographer perspective, I'm gonna say A because I love the brand. I've taken some amazing images with this, and it made me fall in love with the act of going out and doing street photography. And one day I really hope I can own one again, but I feel maybe I'm a bit more conservative with my money now, and I just want a camera that can kind of do everything, which is why something like an iPhone is incredible, because you get amazing images, you get amazing video. It's just a good all-rounder. But pure, incredible, beautiful photography and a camera that you can do amazing street photography with, Fujifilm is still amazing, but lacking those video features, lacking the all-rounderness to become an S tier. So yeah, A tier it is for Fuji. Sony, oh, I wonder where we're going. S tier. I'm biased because like Sony, PlayStation, TVs, just the brand can do it all. And one of the most expensive pieces of gear I ever bought was my A7S II, like God knows how many years ago that was now. And I was like, oh my God, this is so much money for a camera. Oh my God, I'm going broke. But that camera, owning that camera got me so many jobs, so many shoots. And now I'm rocking the A7S III, which I'm shooting on right now, as I just showed you. The A7C2 is a phenomenal camera for how goddamn small it is. And Sony just do everything right, honestly. Like their cinema cameras are incredible now, you know, with the the Sony Burano that came out, and obviously the FX3, the FX6. Sony do everything right, in my opinion. Like they're such a perfect all-round camera for hybrid video photo shooters. I just love the brand. And like, yeah, there are some issues with the way they handle consumers, such as the A7S III not getting any of the new menu systems that the FX3 has. That's a bit annoying because I spent a lot of money on this camera and it's not being upgraded with the latest firmware when they could easily do it. But yeah, I'd still say it's an S tier. If we want to judge it purely on like what is the company like for putting out amazing cameras, amazing technology, actually advancing my enjoyment of making stuff through the medium of video, S tier. It's S tier every day of the week. Casio. When I think of Casio, I think of their watches. I don't know about you guys. Yeah, these things, the Casio watches. That's what I think of when I think of Casio. I think of these really cool retro-y looking watches that I would actually love to own. They're probably pretty cheap. They're old school ones, but maybe not. Everyone wants them now. But Casio camera, yeah, I think of this when I think of Casio cameras. I think of the really old school compact digital cameras that people kind of had when phones were at a point where the camera wasn't so good, but people wanted to have like a small compact camera where they could take photos of on the daily and carry it with them everywhere. This is what I imagine. So I don't think Casio's doing cinema cameras. I could be wrong. Casio's cinema camera. I would be very surprised if they are. Yeah, they're not. They're not doing cinema cameras anymore. I guess for like retro 35mm, there's probably some decent Casio cameras out there. But in terms of now, like Casio, the name is synonymous. I don't really think they're doing much in the way of like advancing the video cinema industry in terms of technology. So I think they're a C tier. I think they were once really great, as Panasonic were, but I think they're kind of just, they've flatlined a bit, and hopefully we can see a resurgence at some point in the future. Okay, the big boys now. Arri. You all know Arri is a German manufacturer of Aussie cinema cameras that you probably know about, and films that you've watched were most likely shot on Arri digital cinema cameras. I remember using my first Arri Alexa like very close to when they came out, and I thought I was like being stood next to like a deity. And I was just like, oh my God, this is the most amazing thing ever. And it really was. Like, those cameras were beautiful. They were massive beasts of like bulkiness, but they were so beautiful. The images are just like, oh, it's a chef's kiss every single frame. And they're still doing incredible stuff with their camera technology, their cinema cameras. You might be surprised, but I'm actually going to put them as A tier only because two reasons. One, I really wish Arri would dip their toe into the prosumer market, because it would be amazing to see them make a mirrorless camera that is similar form factor to an A7S III or even a Blackmagic cinema camera, and see what they could do with that, and see like how much weight the brand of Arri could hold in terms of getting people like YouTubers and prosumer videographers to actually buy it. And it seems like they're very much sticking with the we're high end, which is fine because it clearly differentiates Arri from the other brands who like Sony, who have their hand in every like stage of the videography, like someone's videography career. But honestly, I just really wish they could do something with a mirrorless camera of their own. I think that would be a really interesting thing to throw into the pot of cool videography gear, cinema gear that's out there. And also, as you probably was suggested by what I said, they're too damn expensive. Everything is so expensive. Arri Light, Arri, like they're just too expensive. Most people can't afford any of their stuff, including me. And I get it, like, it's not for me. It's for people who are professionals, who are constantly working in the industry on high-end gear with like a big crew to help you. But yeah, it's still sad that the only thing I can really afford as an Arri fan is a t-shirt or like a camera assistance pouch, and that's about it. Arri Alexa, it's not going in my house anytime soon. Insta360, full disclosure, I've not actually used an Insta360 before. I've just seen YouTube videos from people like Casey Neistat about how it works and everything. It's an interesting concept to have like the camera and the brain of the camera be separate, and it does seem like there's a lot you can do with that. However, I just don't think that there's anything that would grab me towards wanting to buy one. When I see GoPro videos or the new DJI Action model, there's always something in the back of my head that thinks maybe I should buy one. Like I had a GoPro a long time ago, and maybe just having an action camera that's really small would be useful in some circumstances. But when I saw the Insta360, I thought, yeah, cool concept, but the image quality didn't look that great versus a GoPro, which I think if you grade it really well, it looks pretty amazing. Like you can it's at a really solid place now where you can use it in tandem with an A7S, and it like doesn't just stand out as a weird, what the hell is that camera? But I've got to give them props for innovation. Like any camera company that tries to do something different, that tries to actually like break the mold and find a space within the marketplace that makes them stand out and be unique, I have to give props to that. So honestly, mainly because of that, I'm going to give them a B, because they are doing something different. They are doing something that is a bit special and unique, and I have to say, like, bravo. Well done. Kodak. Oh, Kodak. I was born in 1992, so I'm now 31 years old. Using film stock days was very short. The uni that I went to, the film school that I went to, we shot a few projects on film, but most of it was still digital. So I did have experience shooting with Kodak film, Super 16 Kodak film, which was like really, really fun. But honestly, even when I shoot 35mm with cameras like this, which is like I think I got this for £20 off eBay, this old Olympus camera. The stock in this isn't Kodak. It's actually Fujifilm. I just prefer the look of Fujifilm. I don't know why. I just tend to vibe with it better. I just like the way like it's a bit greeny. I mean, it depends which stock you use. I normally use Fuji Suspiria. I just like the way it looks. And yeah, obviously Kodak has been synonymous with movies for a long time. Like people using Kodak stock to shoot a lot of major movies that you all know, that we all know. And now, yeah, they're kind of like, they didn't die, thankfully. Like they definitely, I'm glad that the digital film industry didn't kill them. But I don't know what they're doing now. And of course, the iconic point and shoot Kodak camera. Like whenever I think of a disposable camera, I just see the Kodak disposable camera in my vision. Honestly, like I'm not aware of what Kodak are doing. I'm not aware of any exciting things that they're doing. They have the best logo out of all of these camera companies, in my opinion. I want a Kodak t-shirt because they just look so goddamn cool. But they don't really excite me that much anymore. There's nothing that I can really feel in terms of like it being a cool thing. I remember like hearing that Kodak were initially trying to make a digital camera and then they went against it. But I thought that would have been quite a cool thing for them to at least try and do, to try and challenge like the other companies that actually went full digital. But yeah, there's always a place in the industry for Kodak. I really hope they never die. There's always going to be people who want to shoot on it on the stock, even though it's so expensive versus just having an SD card in your hand. But I think they've been around for so long. They've done so much for the industry. They have a kick-ass logo. It's going in A tier. Everybody's like, but I don't understand your ranking system. What are they doing for the film industry now? It's not about what they are doing for the film industry. It's about what they did for the film industry and also their kick-ass logo. Canon. All right. Canon. I have a love-hate relationship with Canon. As a viewer who is not 10, you will remember the 5D Mark II. Oh, this camera was like the early filmmaker's dream. If somebody owned a 5D Mark II, you were like, oh my God, this person's a millionaire. How? This is the best camera ever. And it really was. Like the 5D Mark II just revolutionized the indie filmmaking space with just how cinematic the images looked, how, you know, affordable kind of the camera was. And I always wanted one. My uni had a 5D Mark II and we would all be like running to the higher office to try and get it out so we could use it. And I shot some early, some of my early short films on the Canon 5D Mark II. I do have a lot of love for it, but honestly, I know people like Peter McKinnon love Canon and have been using their stuff for a long time. I just feel like Canon has lost its video focused edge. I know they're making video cameras still, but I just don't know anyone who regularly is like, I shoot all my video content with Canon cameras. It just seems like there's been too many recent problems with them, like with the R5 overheating, and you know, the R5 was supposed to be the big, you know, A7S3 killer, and then it just never happened. It ended up killing itself because of the overheating issues. So yeah, I just feel like Canon has dropped off a little bit, and as iconic they are as a brand for video makers like me, I honestly don't care. I think E-mount Sony lenses are amazing now. I used to always use Canon lenses on my Sony cameras just because the Sony lenses were not that great. Now they're amazing. The autofocus is amazing. I still think Canon's color science is really good, like arguably better than Sony's, but Sony's is so much closer now. They're not what they used to be, in my opinion. So I'm putting them as a B tier. They're still up there. There's still time to come back and reclaim the top spot, but they're not there anymore, unfortunately. Blackmagic design. What do you think? S tier. Oh wait, should I do S tier? I did that too instinctually. I was like, Blackmagic, DaVinci Resolve. I love DaVinci Resolve. S tier. Yeah. I'm sticking by it. You can challenge me in the comments, guys, but I'm sticking with the S tier. I was using Premiere for a long time, got sick of it because of crashes and, you know, all the Premiere stuff that we don't like as Premiere users. If you're a Premiere user, you'll definitely relate. Went on to Final Cut Pro. I liked it. I liked elements of it, but I just still felt it was kind of limiting. Moved over to DaVinci Resolve, and honestly, everything has become heavenly. Editing is so much more fun. So many regular updates. Basically, almost never crashes, and it's free. Like, what the hell? And I've used Blackmagic cameras before. Honestly, I don't love them. Something about them that I don't enjoy that much versus a Sony camera. Like, I just feel like they're a little bit too professional versus an A7S can be super professional or super like casual in how you use it, or at least how I feel like when I use it. But just what the company Blackmagic has actually done for the industry is unbelievable. Like the Blackmagic Pocket camera, the really small one, was unbelievably beautiful camera despite all the dumb issues from it. Just the hardware stuff, the software stuff, just I'm always excited by Blackmagic. Honestly, I feel like they're S tier just because the company feels like they actually care about the users. They care that they listen to feedback. They update their software like a lot, and I feel like they actually listen to me, the user, and try and give me the best experience possible of actually creating with them. So just because of that, I honestly think they're S tier. Challenge me on that. Haters of DaVinci, say what you want. I'm standing by it. As long as they keep doing what they're doing, they're going to remain S tier lords. Red. Oh, Red. Love-hate relationship. I remember using the Red 1, the camera that The Social Network got shot on. I think it was like a custom camera that they made for Fincher. It's a horrible camera. It looks absolutely amazing, but the boot up time is like a minute and it's massive and clunky. Since then, I have shot with other Red cameras. Like I've worked with the Scarlett quite a lot, the Epic quite a lot. But honestly, Red are like a bit of an annoying company because they're basically the American version of Arri, because everything is stupidly expensive. Yeah, they've made the Komodo and other small cameras, but it just feels so like insular. It feels like people who have Reds just, it's like a badge of honor. In a way, it looks like a weird like badge, like I'm a Red guy. I'm a Red guy. It just feels a bit too like pompous in a way. And maybe Red is still considered as like cool, but I don't know, like kind of fallen off with Red. A lot of camera hire companies that I know of here in Budapest, in Hungary, they don't like Red because they say that like when something breaks, it just takes them so long to get replacements. But I guess that's because, you know, they're an American company versus Arri have headquarters everywhere. So like, you know, it's a little bit easier to fix stuff. So yeah, like Red at a time was amazing. I think they're a bit like Canon now in terms of like where they're at. So I'm going to say B tier. Apple, not like a camera company per se. I mean, you know, they technically make the most popular camera currently going, which is the iPhone, and they're definitely in A tier because I've seen a massive improvement of the camera quality. You know, the new iPhone 15 with the Apple log. I love how they're actually focusing on making the experience of shooting on an iPhone being like a cinema experience if you so choose to use it that way. You know, and there have been whole movies that got shot on iPhone and they look amazing, and it's only going to be more commonplace where people just make stuff entirely on an iPhone, which is absolutely incredible. Like I would have loved to have been a kid now and, you know, to have an iPhone 12 or beyond, or even, you know, give me an iPhone 10 and just to be able to have all the tools, the editing tools, the amazing like video tools that exist within iPhones now. When I was a kid, like I would, oh my God, I don't know. It would be amazing. I was going to say like I would cut my arm off to have it, but I wouldn't. I want my arms. But yeah, just the fact that, you know, they shot the recent Apple event entirely with an iPhone, which is absolutely incredible. And the technology is only going to get better, and the availability of filmmakers to be able to actually like shoot entire stuff with an iPhone is 100% possible now. Like there's really nothing stopping an indie filmmaker just being like, I'm going to shoot it all with an iPhone because it's what I have and I want to save that money for locations. And I think what they're doing for the film industry and for young filmmakers is incredible. So they're definitely an A tier for that. Maybe not an S tier because, you know, I need to see if they're going to keep up with this trend. It seems like they are, but they're on their way to being an S tier with what they're doing. Also, like Final Cut, still not sold on it. Like I left it specifically because the lack of updates, the lack of listening to customers. Like it's almost like they don't care about Final Cut Pro, in my opinion. That brings them down a rank, definitely. DJI. So yeah, this is a tricky one because the only thing I think DJI are really missing is an A7S III competitor type thing. You know, they've got the Ronin, which is like the gimbal cinema camera combined, which is a cool idea. But everything else is like an action camera, a smaller camera. Obviously, you've got the drones, which are incredibly popular. But I would just love for them to make some kind of mirrorless type camera that challenges or tries to get into the A7S III space. But they've certainly carved a space for them. You know, the gimbals, the RS3 Mini and the RS2, or rather the RS3, which is the newer version of this, are both absolutely incredible and a joy to use. And I feel like DJI are kind of like the Apple of the camera world in a way. The packaging, the unboxing experience, like using it just feels so pro and so nice. But yeah, there's something missing. There's something missing from the company. So they're an A tier, I think. Like, give me some more advancements in technology for certain things, maybe surprises with a mirrorless competitor of some kind. But other than that, they're on their way to becoming an S tier. I really like DJI. I do. Like, solid company, and I'm going to continue to buy their stuff as they continue to make new versions, if they make sense for me to buy and have the money. GoPro. I mean, very tricky because GoPro is a very singular company. We know GoPro for action cams. They give us the really cool YouTube videos with, you know, the skier going down and falling into a crevasse, and it was all captured because he happens to have a GoPro on. So the branding and marketing around GoPro is really, really cool. And really, really, like, they've done an amazing job over the maybe like decade long that they've been around from what I remember. But yeah, they're a very singular thing. They've had some pretty big failures in terms of like trying to make other items like drones and things, and that basically just flopped. And then it seems like they've gone back to their roots of just being like, we want to try and be the best action cam company in the world. DJI got into the space. and are challenging them, and the action camera is pretty amazing, actually, like arguably better than the GoPro. But the brand has still had a substantial influence on the kind of camera sphere. But honestly, I think I'd give them B, just because action cameras is kind of a space that seems to be getting battled out between DJI and GoPro right now. And I think DJI is just edging them, if I'm honest with you, just because they have so many other little accessories like the DJI mic and other like gimbal-y small action kind of cameras that complement a small GoPro-y action camera. And yeah, I really hope GoPro keeps going for many years and, you know, keeps trying to outpace DJI. But I don't know what's going to happen with the company. There's just too much competition now, and maybe one day they won't cease to be here. But what they've done, what they've paved the way for in terms of like the whole YouTube videos with GoPros and all that kind of niche in the filmmaking spaces will always be remembered. But yeah, pray that they stick around for quite a while longer. Hasselblad. I don't know much about Hasselblad, I'll be honest. I know that they have like really big high resolution cameras and stuff for photographers. I don't know, like, can we add a tier? Let's add a row below. Or I don't know. I don't know enough about Hasselblad. I know the name is a camera company, and I know that they're trying to make like digital versions of their really high-end, you know, medium format cameras, but I don't know much about them. Panavision. Yeah, Panavision is synonymous with filmmaking, like old school filmmaking, shooting on film. I always think of Quentin Tarantino with Panavision because I know that like he shot with Panavision cameras in the past. But yeah, there's nothing really exciting that they're doing right now. So I think I'm just going to stick them in the B tier because what they did for the industry, you know, they do have a place in it, but there's nothing happening right now that's making me think like Panavision, very exciting company. Nikon. Well, Nikon for me is only known for photography cameras, not really video. I think I had a Nikon camera, like a really old one a long time ago, like a compact one, but they're just a photography company, right? I don't know anybody who's like, I make YouTube videos. What camera are you using, buddy? Nikon. Like, maybe there is one of you guys out there. Leave it in the comments if you are. You rare person. They're just a photography company as far as I'm aware, and they're kind of a maybe like, I don't know, like I guess D. There's just nothing interesting about them right now in terms of like the videography space that I'm aware of. So yeah, when I think Nikon, I think people who go out and take photos of birds, and they do it with their good Nikon camera. So old reliable. Next here is Panasonic, but Panasonic is already in here, so we can just skip that. Let's put it to the end. Olympus. Oh, Olympus. Yeah, Olympus for me, the image that I have in my head is little pocket cameras, the little kind of small pocket-y point and shoot cameras, and that's it. Yeah, this camera, this film camera, this really old Japanese film camera is Olympus as well. And yeah, they're kind of like Nikon. They've been around for a while. They're a brand that everybody recognizes, but they're not doing anything exciting. They're a bit of a relic of the past, even though they're still making stuff right now. So D tier, it has to be D tier. Polaroid, again, maybe one of the coolest logos out of all of them. I'm a bit too young to be to have the memory of having like a handheld Polaroid camera, then taking a photo and then doing the floppity flop and then seeing it. Yeah, they exist right now, but it seems like a lot of teenage girls like having that. And yeah, Polaroids are cool. Obviously, the brand's been around for so long, has a very specific kind of space in the whole history of cameras and everything. I don't know if they're doing anything interesting right now. Yeah, the Instax cameras are a really cool idea, and maybe it would be kind of cool to just have one to randomly take photos with, but there's nothing that I'm being excited about. It's just a brand that has been around for so long, had such a cultural phenomenon, and the name has just stuck, and they'll always be able to sell their products to a very kind of niche thing, but they're going to have to heavily rely on the idea of like, we're Polaroid, we're this cool camera brand, we make this like niche cool camera. So I guess in that respect, I'm going to put them as B because they're just a cool brand, and I'm not going to probably buy any of their cameras anytime soon, but they've earned their place in B tier as far as I'm concerned. And finally, Ricoh, or Ricoh, however you pronounce it. I think it's Ricoh. I had a friend at film school who was obsessed with the small Ricoh cameras. I believe it was the Ricoh GR. And I remember when I was weighing up between buying a Fuji camera or a Ricoh, I almost bought the Ricoh, but then just heard that there was like, it had some problems, the initial Ricoh GR. I know photographers who just swear by it because it's just so small, so compact, takes amazing stills, but that's all I know about Ricoh. So I guess if you're a Ricoh fan, you can probably be like, no, but it's amazing. If you had it, you would know how good they are. I never had one, and you know, if someone puts one in my hand, maybe I would learn to understand the Ricoh ways, why people love it. But for now, I don't really have a lot of interest in it. Fujifilm seems to have like caught the market interest way more than Ricoh. Ricoh has. And it seems like just a very like kind of purist sect of people are swearing by their Ricohs and are going to stick with them because of how amazing they think the cameras are. So I'm putting it in C tier. I almost miss Leica weirdly. So Leica, I have mixed opinions about Leica. So I think Leica cameras are stupidly unnecessarily expensive. I shot something for the Leica store in Manchester once upon a time, and I used I don't remember which Leica camera it was, but it was a specific like video Leica camera, and I thought the menu was crap. The images looked okay, but honestly, like I didn't have fun editing that footage or grading it. And I just think that somebody has a lot of money who just uses it as like a brand thing, where it's like, I've got a Leica camera, isn't that cool? And yeah, like I don't know, maybe if I become a rich person, I'll be like, why not Leica camera? I look cool with this Leica camera. But I don't know, there's just something about the brand that icks me the wrong way. It just seems a little bit too showy. Yeah, you could argue that Sony's like that, but I don't know, like there's just something about Leica that I don't vibe with. Maybe it's because I just vibe more with the Japanese companies that is the honor and the respect. I love all that. It just seems like the way the branding and the message and what the brand identity is with Leica in particular, just I don't vibe with it. I'm gonna say like probably gonna put it there. Maybe it verges on a D tier, but I'm not gonna be that mean because there's a space. I'm sure like people just love Leica cameras for some reason, and there's something about them, specific way the image looks that cannot be captured by any camera. I just don't really care that much about them, and the more I say that, the more I'm like, yeah, they should be D tier. Don't come after me, Leica people. Don't sue me. I'm sorry. S tier. There you go. You happy now? You happy now? If you want to see me have an absolutely horrible time looking at some video editing apps that people still use for some reason, you should check out this video over here. Click that subscribe button, because if you don't, I'm going to force you to shoot your next project with the amazing Casio watch camera. I can feel the Oscars on its way. I'll see you in the next video.